For many centuries, it was customary that the vast majority of military merit or bravery awards were given only to officers. At the same time, there were awards for non-commissioned officers and enlisted ranks, which officers in turn could not receive. This only changed on the 10th of March, 1813, with the establishment of the Iron Cross by the Prussian king Friedrich Wilhelm III changed, who allowed the award to be given regardless of rank. That is one of the reasons for the great popularity and appreciation of the Iron Cross, even though it was not an order but a decoration until 1939. Everything worth knowing about the Prussian Iron Cross, established in 1813, and its development up to the various classes of the Knight's Cross of the Second World War as a pan-German order, is covered in my video notes on the Iron Cross. It was also King Friedrich Wilhelm III who, on January 18, 1810, designated the Order pour le Mérite, which had been established in June 1740 by Friedrich the Great, as the highest order of valor. This order, shown here with oak leaves, gained particular popularity during the First World War, and is today mistakenly referred to as the Blue Max. This goes back to the novel published in 1962 by the American journalist and advertising consultant Jack D. Hunter, The Blue Max, and the Hollywood film of the same name, The Blue Max, which was released in 1966. In my video, where I explain why the Pour le Mérite is not the Blue Max, I try to provide a logical explanation for this. Because until the publication of the book by the American, no German who had served as a soldier in World War I could remember this. That anyone would have disparagingly referred to this highest and so rarely awarded Prussian order as a Blue Max? One can assume that Mr. Hunter, more than 40 years after the end of the First World War, confused the Pour le Mérite and its supposed nickname Blue Max with the Bavarian military Max Joseph Order, which also features the color blue in its center. In any case, the Pour le Mérite was awarded exclusively to officers. However, in order to also honor non-commissioned officers and enlisted men for outstanding bravery, on February 27, 1864, the Prussian king Friedrich Wilhelm I established the Golden Military Merit Cross alongside the purely officers' order, Pour le Mérite. It was the extension of the one established on June 14, 1793 by King Friedrich Wilhelm II, founded merit medals in gold or silver. On the black ribbon, later on the 30th of September, 1806, Friedrich Wilhelm III had a white side stripe added to the ribbon, which now represented the Prussian colors white and black. In a slightly wider form, the white and black ribbon was used for the Iron Cross, which was established in 1813. On September 30th, 1814, the Golden Medal of Merit was transformed into a Silver Cross as the first-class military honor badge, while the originally silver medal was from then on called the second-class military honor badge. On February 27, 1864, King Wilhelm I expanded this foundation with a golden cross for especially brave conduct and gave it the name Golden Military Merit Cross. On the front, it bore the inscription War Merit, and on the back the monogram WR for Wilhelmus Rex. With this, until the end of World War I in 1918, the highest Prussian award for non-commissioned officers and enlisted men was established. During the German-German War of 1866, Prussia against Austria, which is also called the German Brother War, on the 20th September, 1866, the first awards were given to 16 non-commissioned officers and enlisted men. It was often awarded for capturing an enemy regimental flag. Here, trumpeter Adolf du Chaillu from the Dragoon Regiment King Friedrich III, 2nd Silesian, Nome. 8 captured the flag of the Austrian 5th Chevalier Regiment. During the Franco-Prussian War of 1870-71, no awards were given. For this, the Iron Cross was newly established, and during World War I, the Prussian Golden Military Merit Cross was awarded exclusively to members of Prussian units. Had it been possible for foreign soldiers to be awarded it until then? So, in 1878, during the Russo-Turkish War, 34 Russian Guard soldiers were awarded, and in 1900 on the occasion of the joint campaign in China during the so-called Boxer Rebellion. After that, from 1895 to 1906, there were 4 more awards given to soldiers of the German colonial forces, 3 in Cameroon, 1 in German East Africa, and 1 in 1900 during the Boxer Rebellion. To the non-commissioned officer Richard Horn from the Sea Battalion, as the German Marine Infantry was called. In total, since its establishment on the 27th of February 1864 until the 1st August 1914, only 42 military merit crosses had been awarded. Their awarding, the prior possession of the Iron Cross first and second class was a prerequisite, along with having exhausted all other possible awards. After the Iron Cross was renewed at the beginning of World War I in 1914, the awarding of the Golden Military Merit Cross was also initially suspended, just as it had been in 1870-71. But because the number of soldiers kept increasing due to the duration and intensity of the war, those who had already received both Iron Crosses but were to be honored again for a special individual achievement, the awarding of the Golden Military Merit Cross was resumed in 1916. The conditions for the award included, among other things, holding the rank of non-commissioned officer, leading a successful attack against a superior enemy, repelling attacks from an overwhelming enemy force, and successfully scouting behind enemy lines, rescuing comrades or valuable equipment under enemy fire, neutralizing enemy tanks or important machine gun positions. For fighter pilots, 9 to 20 aerial victories. For reconnaissance pilots, artillery observers, infantry pilots, or bomber pilots, at least 150 combat missions. The first awarding in World War I of the order, which was also rightly called the Pour le Mérite for non-commissioned officers, and was considered equal in value to the Pour le Mérite, had taken place. On the 15th of October, 1916, to Vice Sergeant Georg Duels of the 6th Unit, stationed in Koblenz, at the Kathhause in the Hereditary Grand Duke Friedrich Barracks, Rhenish Infantry Regiment No. 68. The Vice Sergeant, as surplus sergeants were called, had on the 11th during the Battle of the Somme. On August 11, 1916, during the Battle of Pozières, he led a company in the assault on the Stockischer Trench and personally captured a British machine gun. Duels participated in World War II as a reserve captain. I noticed it. I already mentioned that the Prussian Golden Military Merit Cross in World War I could only be awarded to members of Prussian units, as well as soldiers of the Navy and Air Forces, as well as to soldiers from the contingents of almost all the small German states who were integrated into the Prussian army after the military convention with Prussia in 1867-68. Here are those from the Grand Duchy of Hesse-Darmstadt. So, on the 8th of October, 1918, Officer Deputy Heinrich Schaefer from the oldest German infantry regiment. Foundation Day, March 11, 1621. The Darmstadt Life Guard Infantry Regiment, 1 Grand Ducal Hessian, No. 115, about which I have a video. 400 years of the Life Guard Infantry Regiment, No. 115 was awarded the Golden Military Merit Cross. On October 28, 1918, Vice Sergeant Karl Bonenkamp from the Royal Saxon Fighter Squadron, No. 22. In 1917, 53 awards were given, and in 1918, the last year of the war, 1,700. The picture shows the certificate and medal of Vice Sergeant Friedrich Karl Heinrich Brandes from the Infantry Regiment von Volks-Reeds, 3rd Hanoverian, number 79. From the very small number of only 1,770 awards, one can easily recognize the high value of this distinction. So, there was one military merit cross for about 4,520 soldiers, while, for example, a Pour le Mérite was awarded to about 480 officers. Therefore, the Golden Military Merit Cross can be considered roughly equivalent in terms of the number awarded to the Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross during World War II for non-commissioned officers and enlisted men. The first 54 Golden Military Merit Crosses awarded in World War I were still made of gold, but starting in November 1916 due to material shortages, they were made of gilded silver. During World War I, 1,770 Prussian Golden Military Merit Crosses were awarded to 1,356 infantrymen, 31 riflemen, 164 artillerymen, 21 mortar operators, 90 engineers, 69 members of the Air Force and naval aviators, 27 Navy personnel, including 12 submarine crew members, 3 naval aviators, and 11 members of the Marine Corps troops, 1 field airshipman, 5 cavalrymen, and 4 members of the Signal Corps. The two most well-known recipients were the ones on the first. The aircraft designer Gerhard Fieseler, who died in Kassel on September 1st, 1987, at the age of 91, was one of them. He became world famous for the single-engine liaison aircraft Fieseler, which he developed in 1936. Storch, who served as a vice sergeant and fighter pilot in Fighter Squadron 25. Fieseler had achieved 19 aerial victories in the First World War. And the former paratroop general Hermann Bernhard Ramke, who died in Kappeln on July 5, 1968, at the age of 79, was awarded the Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross with oak leaves, swords, and diamonds during the Second World War. In the First World War, Officer Deputy Ramke served in the 2nd Sailor Regiment. On April 24, 1918, for exceptional bravery as a stormtroop leader on the Yser Front, he was awarded the Golden Military Merit Cross, and afterwards he was promoted to lieutenant. On his uniform, the proper way to wear the award, a black ribbon with white side stripes, can be seen particularly well. 5 pilots of the Air Force had earned the Golden Military Merit Cross as non-commissioned officers and, after their promotion to lieutenant, also received the Pour le Mérite. On April 4th, December 1917, Vice Sergeant from Fighter Squadron, 17 who died in Bonn in 1960, Julius Buckler with 36 kills. On December 12th, on the 15th of February 1918, Vice Sergeant who crashed with his plane over the Danish Strait Øresund on July 15, 1927. Paul Baumer, with 43 aerial victories in 5th Fighter Squadron during World War I, was one of the most successful German fighter pilots on the 10th July 27, 1918. Vice Sergeant Fritz Rume, who fell in Cambrai on September 27, 1918, with 45 confirmed aerial victories in Fighter Squadron Boelke, was the 6th most successful fighter pilot of World War I. On the 26th of September, 1918, Vice Sergeant Otto Koennecke from Fighter Squadron 5, who died in Bad Aibling in 1956, with 33, or according to another source, 35 victories. And on the 1st November, 1918, on the 3rd Vice Sergeant Carl Thom, who died under unclear circumstances in Pillow East Prussia, on March 3, 1945, with 27 aerial victories in Fighter Squadron 21. The last person to be awarded on November 3, 1918, was Vice Sergeant Carl Beck from Reserve Infantry Regiment 83. About 400 recipients of the Golden Military Merit Cross were killed or succumbed to their wounds during the First World War, including 21 pilots or observers. The early recipients of this award received a monthly honorary pay of 3 thalers, which was, for example, for a lower-ranking recipient who received 4 thalers in salary per month, almost a doubling. After the First World War, this honorary pay was increased by the Weimar Republic to 20 Reichsmarks, and after the Second World War, starting in 1956, the payment of an honorary pay continued at 25 marks, and from 1986, it was increased to 50 marks. In addition, until 1945, every guard would present arms when a bearer of the Golden Military Merit Cross entered a military facility, and after his death, he was entitled to a military funeral parade. On August 25, 1939, at the 25th anniversary celebration, anniversary of the Battle of Tannenberg, all bearers of the Golden Military Merit Cross were granted the honorary rank of Landwehr Lieutenant, provided they had not already achieved a higher rank. However, since this decree was not known to all recipients or offices, some holders continued to serve as senior non-commissioned officers during World War II. The last holder of the Golden Military Merit Cross was the former acting officer Karl Heinzmann from the 3rd Unit stationed in Karlsruhe and Gaudesaue. Baden Field Artillery Regiment No. 50 Heinzmann was on the 18th. He was awarded on May 18, 1918, and on the 24th. He passed away on April 24, 1990, at the age of 101, 8 years after him, on the 17th. On February 17, 1998, renowned German writer Ernst Jünger died in Riedlingen at 102, who, in the First World War, on the 22nd September 1918, was awarded the Pour le Mérite as a lieutenant and assault troop leader. With the passing of these two, the holder of the Golden Military Merit Cross, Karl Heinzmann, and the last knight of the Pour le Mérite Order in the military class, Ernst Jünger, another era of Prussian-German military history, had come to an end forever.